Princess Majida is the daughter of the Sultan of Brunei, one of the richest monarchs in the world. For many years, her marriage seemed happy. But in December 2023, the royal court suddenly announced a divorce. Not a single media outlet named the reason. And what happened to her husband afterward? In Brunei, people still speak of it only in whispers. What was really happening to the princess behind the closed doors of the palace? What was the real reason for their sudden divorce? How did a single phone call reveal what had been hidden for 16 years? And most importantly, where is her former husband now? The Sultan of Brunei, Hassan al-Bolkiah, has ruled for almost 60 years. His fortune is estimated in the tens of billions of dollars. He lives in the largest residential palace in the world, and he has 12 children from 3 marriages. In this family, he always made every decision himself. He even personally chose husbands for his daughters. And that is exactly what makes Princess Majida's story especially disturbing. The man who made his daughter's life unbearable for 16 years was once chosen by the Sultan himself. And it all could have gone on much longer if Queen Saleha had not one day learned what her daughter had been hiding for many years. To understand what is behind this story, we need to go back 20 years. Majida is the Sultan's 4th child and the daughter of his chief wife, Queen Saleha. Quiet, modest, with 2 degrees, one from the University of Brunei and one from King's College London. By the age of 30, she was still unmarried, very late by Eastern standards. The Sultan decided to find his daughter a reliable, trusted man from his inner circle. And soon he found one. His name was Khairul Khalil. He came from an ordinary family, worked in the Prime Minister's office, and knew the princess's brothers. Everyone said the same thing about him: calm, modest, friendly. But no one expected what he would become after the wedding. In June 2007, wedding celebrations began and lasted for 2 weeks. The Sultan personally led the groom by the hand to his daughter. An ordinary official became a member of one of the richest dynasties in the world overnight. In the wedding photos, he is smiling widely and confidently. The princess is barely smiling at all. At the time, no one paid attention to that. The couple had 2 children, a son and a daughter. The family seemed almost perfect. In public, everything looked like a fairy tale. But the truth would not come to light for another 16 years, and a single phone call would decide everything. After receiving his title and entering the royal family, Khairul became a completely different person. He started opening one business after another: an event agency, a design studio, restaurants, and cafes. According to former employees, he treated his staff very harshly, feeling untouchable, and they did not dare argue with him. But what he did at home was far worse. So why did Majida stay silent all those years? When the palace announced the divorce, people on the internet almost immediately began talking about his affairs. And people spoke as if this had been known in Brunei for a long time. Do you mean the first affair or the recent one? That means this was not an isolated case. According to rumors, one of his relationships was with a woman who worked at the palace. People on TikTok even named a specific person, supposedly the wife of his own brother. That cannot be confirmed, but many people in Brunei talked about it. In Malay slang, a cheating man is often called a buaya, a crocodile. That was the word that appeared most often in the comments. But affairs were not the only thing Majida endured all those years. What happened next explains why the Sultan reacted so harshly. Among people close to the royal court, there were rumors that Khairul treated the princess with extreme harshness. But no one would have dared say such a thing directly to the Sultan, and Majida herself remained silent. In Brunei, stories like this are almost never made public. Wives do not complain about their husbands out loud, especially when the royal family is involved. Perhaps that is exactly why Majida stayed silent for so long. 16 years, not a word. And the most frightening part is that it could have gone on even longer. If Queen Saleha had not accidentally become involved in this story one day, the truth might never have come out. And it all began with one phone call that changed everything. According to people close to the palace, one day Queen Saleha called her son-in-law from her daughter's phone. Khairul saw his wife's name on the screen and answered her the way he was used to speaking to her. He shouted at the Queen. Just imagine, the wife of the Sultan of Brunei, the mother of a princess, a woman before whom the entire country bows, heard on that phone call what her daughter had been hearing for many years. The Queen told the Sultan everything. What happened next, no one knows for sure. People whose families worked at the palace said only one thing. The Sultan was furious. And then came the divorce and the loss of his title. Not a single media outlet in Brunei named the reason. Newspapers published a short notice, without comments or details. In Brunei, things like this are not officially discussed. Khairul Khalil's name disappeared from palace records. Their children kept their royal titles. Their titles come through their mother's side of the family, and they no longer have anything to do with the princess's former husband. After the divorce, he disappeared completely from public life. And this is where the story becomes even more disturbing. Because in Brunei, stories like this can lead to very serious consequences. Back in 2014, a Sharia penal code with very harsh rules came into force there. The law provides severe punishments for adultery and certain forms of misconduct within the family. Although this rule was not applied in practice for many years, its very existence made stories like this even more frightening. Where Khairul Khalil is today, no one knows. Some say they saw him strolling through a shopping mall with another woman. Others say the consequences of the divorce were far more serious. But no version has ever been officially confirmed. Not a single photo, not a single comment, not one public appearance since the divorce. The irony of this story is that Majida's fate could have turned out differently. At first, the Sultan wanted to marry her to Prince Kavi, the son of his own brother. In terms of status, it was a perfect match, a union within the family. But shortly before the engagement was announced, it became known that Kavi was living a life far from royal. He was often seen in public with other women, and people in Brunei quickly began to talk. The engagement was quietly called off. But if that marriage had still happened, and if the prince had behaved the same way as Khairul, he probably would not have faced such punishment. After all, the husband of the Sultan's eldest daughter, Rashida, was also accused of affairs. But he is the Sultan's cousin, and no one touched him. He still appears at all royal events with his wife. But Khairul Khalil was not a relative. He was a commoner who received his title only because of marriage. And when that marriage ended, the title was taken away, along with everything else. In Brunei, criticizing the royal family is forbidden by law. Here, anything that could cast a shadow on the palace is handled behind closed doors. Majida's divorce was no exception. A few lines in the newspaper, and then silence. Majida has never said a single public word about the divorce. She continues to appear at state ceremonies, quiet and reserved, just as she has always been. For 16 years, she endured it and stayed silent. Because in her world, people do not speak about such things out loud. A modest and kind princess lived in a golden palace, but behind its walls, she was going through something you would not wish on anyone. Until her parents finally learned the truth. This story is yet another reminder that neither money, nor titles, nor palaces guarantee happiness, even if you are the daughter of one of the richest men on the planet. What do you think about this story? Write your opinion in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.